A man's deepest thoughts and desires are expressed outwardly as a man's physical reality. This is a law of nature, and it is unchangeable and timeless. A person's action, the way they live and the way they treat and speak to others, and the way that they respond to the world is a reflection of their inner thoughts. Jesus Christ, they tell man for him come of the kingdom of heaven, we there here on earth. For the book of Matthew 7, verse 18 to 19 say, in quote, "For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither does a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush grapes." End of quote. From this parable of Jesus, man go fit easily see the message when Jesus Christ dey try to teach man. Say, man cannot hide from himself, since the outer is a mirror of the inner. Those who are gentle of heart and of positive intentions bring forth these attributes in every aspect of their lives. Regardless of what circumstances may befall them, the outer world will still reflect the inner calm and peace. It is not that everyone walks their talk, but they do walk their thoughts. We all create our own outer reality, even if we do not see that we are responsible for what is imagined in our outer world. All of us don't at one point or another experience hypocrisy. We all know some people, when they proclaim love and forgiveness with one hand, and at the same time they use the other hand for hate and seek revenge. It is evident at the individual level and collective level in terms of nations. Grapes do not grow on bramble bush, and those who attempt to hide their negative thoughts in the guise of sweet-sounding platitude are known by their corrupt fruit. Wetin be the key principle here be say, our manifest world na the result of the nature of the tree, the heartwood, the thought and true values within. We dey responsible for the fruit that we bear, for our fruit na the product of whom and what we really are at any particular moment of creation. If disease is in a man's life, then man need to examine what is within the man when they give rise to the corrupt fruit. Now the thing when Jesus Christ dey talk for this in parable be this: if we lack material comfort, what thought or emotions give rise to those fruits? If we find it difficult to attract friends and a life partner, what intention give rise to the thorns? We cannot blame someone else or a social or environmental condition for the quality of our fruit. Each man is a reflection of the thought and emotions when the man they allow his mind to be occupied with, my brothers and sisters. This one is a cosmological law, a law of nature. We no they vary or they change. So now the duty of man to know what in these laws be and to comply with these laws, as nature will not bend or change its laws to accommodate a man's ignorance, irrespective of the religion, when the man fortunately or unfortunately find himself. A strong and healthy plant, not they prone to the ravages of disease, insect or changes in weather. They stand tall against adversity, and at their inner strength they see them through setback. This is not a natural law. This is also true of people. The quality of our fruit is not a condemnation, nor is it a reason to feel guilt or shame. They are simply signpost indicators that our inner thoughts require tending and perhaps some loving attention in order to improve the quality of the harvest. As Jesus Christ himself already tells us, say in quote, the field is already white with harvest. All a man need to do not to lift up his eyes above the trials and tribulations that are bound for the man's life. For a man to lift up his eyes simply means say a man not supposed to allow the usual daily worries to stand in his way of achievement. Jesus Christ, in his teaching of the meaning of the kingdom of heaven which is at hand here on earth within each man, used another parable again to explain like this. For the book of Luke chapter 6 verse 45 say in quote, a good man out of the good measure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bring forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. End of quote, blood of Jesus. Wonderful, wonderful Jesus. I not be a believer in the religionist notion of good and evil. No, I'm not a believer in it. I simply view this world as simply mind in equilibrium. I believe these terms were used by many since those were the public terms or common vernacular of the olden days. The more appropriate terms are positive and negative, as they more accurately represent the true concept of good and evil. Good and evil imply opposing forces that struggle with each other for dominance, and also some intelligent force of evil that competes with an intelligent force of good. This now simply not the case. Positive and negative forces now the duality that make the manifest world possible. Hot and cold, up and down, front and back, light and dark are but a few examples of that duality in which the existence of one is dependent upon the other. One is the opposite of the other. Same with the emotion of love and hate, lack and abundance. All people they think and act positively and negatively. Each term, however, is relative to each, and each of them are a degree of the other. As I don't talk before, we make no final decision about the polarity of an event. Oftentimes, the perceived negative turns out to be positive, and vice versa. After all, down is not bad if your plane is running out of fuel, abi? Up is not necessarily good for a mouse when you want to keep all four legs on the ground. All positive and negatives are relative and often subjective. One is simply the absence of the other, so neither is bad. All of that being said, the meaning of this parable is rather clear in that when Jesus Christ they teach man for this in parable and say what is inside the mind of man becomes pictured outside in the life of the same man. Our reality for life, they reflect those things that gather intense emotional support from within the mind of man. These can either be positive or negative energy that form the basis of our home, work, and social environment. The good treasure is pictured as a world with positive events and relationship.